Yo, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Gurren Otaku Council podcast. Today it is episode 81, and it's been a long time coming, everybody. We got the Frieren finale for you all today, plus much more. But of course, before we get into all to that, if you'd like to join the council and become a part of the crew, then make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, as well as follow us on the social media so you can stay up to date on all things about the council. Ladies and gentlemen, the council is now in session. Let the meeting begin. All right, everybody, welcome back for another week. As always, hope everybody's doing fantastic. How you doing today, McMillian?
Good, my friend. Kind of sad that the journey is over, air quotes, but ready to talk about everybody's favorite elf from this season.
Of course. So as always, we're gonna go ahead and hit you guys with the council announcement. So take it away, McMillian.
Yeah. So for this episode, like we said, we'll be talking about Frieren's finale, which is going to be covering episode 27 and 28. Then we'll be giving you anime news as always, and then rounding up with the weekly recommendation. Besides our agenda, just a reminder: last week we released our Eminence and Frieren episode, which was a discussion, I believe, on episode 26, if not 25 and 26, as well as the season 2 of Eminence and Shadow, hence the name Eminence and Frieren.
Correct. It was 25 and 26.
It was? Okay, cool.
Yes.
Then, just as a reminder, Ace is on his One Piece review 1097. He just released, and later this week you'll begin 1098. As well as we finally did it, everyone. Thank you all for this. We have finally reached 100 subscribers for the channel.
Big 100. Let's go.
And we appreciate all of you. Me and Ace will probably be discussing here in the near future what type of video we want to make to commemorate, this milestone for the channel. But I thank you all. We couldn't have reached it without your all support and help. And then just because we hit 100 does not mean you guys should not click the subscribe button if you are new to the channel. But I just want to say thank you all for helping us get here. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes, likewise. We've been grinding this one out for a while now. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting so far, and everybody who's just been watching in general. Even if you haven't subscribed yet, you feel like we might not get earned yet, don't worry about it. We're gonna keep grinding.
Yep.
So just thank you for the support, and we're gonna keep going. And big 100. Here's the big 100. And like McMillian already did say, we're gonna be planning a special for this one. We're gonna, I guess, finalize what we really want to do, and then just bang out all the details for all that. But yeah, so that's gonna be coming. So thank you guys once again for helping us get to our first 100 subscribers. So with all that being said, that is the end of council announcements, everybody. We're gonna hop into our discussion of the day, the Frieren finale. Everybody, it's been a long time coming. Frieren has taken the anime scene by storm. Today we got for you guys the Frieren episode 27 and 28, the era of humans, and it would be embarrassing when we meet again. Yeah. All right, so first thing first, let's just gonna get this out the way. All right, small tears were shed, not big tears, just small tears. Small tears. Yes, small tears were shed.
Okay. Any like specific thing you want to say the small tears were shed over, or
just the final episode? It was okay. It was just amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the final episode. Granted, I didn't shed any tears, but it was more of like man, it's over. I gotta wait till the second season come out. And normally, like I said, when I'm really invested in something, I usually look into the manga. But this one, I think I'm gonna let it marinate and wait for the anime to just return, because I've just
really that's what I'm talking about. Let it marinate. That's what I'm talking about.
I've been really liking the animation and stuff like that, and I just hope and I have confidence. I feel like that this will come back, because Frieren Friday became a thing.
And it definitely became a thing.
Yeah, and I really believe that the anime speaks for itself in terms of popularity. So I'm pretty sure it hasn't. I don't think we've got an official announcement that will have.
No, I believe we did get an official announcement that
because I know it ended.
Was continued, if not mistaken.
I know when it ended, it did have that thing the journey's end will continue or something like that. Yeah. Or the end, or will we be continuing to the journey of the end? I just know.
Take that as an official announcement in my book, but you're saying just something about maybe from an official source or something.
Well,
I could have sworn it was.
And an art, usually, when uh like for instance when JJK ended, there was besides just like the end cap like thing
Yeah.
of like that we actually got to see like a poster of them being like, you know, season 3 in production or something like that. That's all I was saying. Like I haven't seen any like season 2 of Frieren in production or stuff like that. That's all I'm saying. But I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
we'll
Okay.
get that
Yeah.
sooner or
I,
later.
I did a live check. Yeah. No, we didn't get like a quote unquote like official release, but like you said, we did get the, you know, the journey continues. So everybody's like, yeah, season 2 is it, which in my book it does count. That's them pretty much saying that season 2 has been announced as well. I agree with them. But yeah, no, season 2. We're gonna get to that later, but season 2 is gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
So, you know, let's just go ahead and get us started here. The third exam has came and gone, everybody, and we got some winners and losers.
Yes.
We got some
Yes, we
winners
do.
and losers.
A
But
lot
before we
more.
get,
I was just gonna say a lot more winners than I think I expected, but it was still nice to see. Like I really thought we were gonna walk away with like maybe 3 people passing,
mhm.
and we got a decent amount of people that passed. And I really liked the reveal for the reasonings of why they passed. It was really
Yeah.
good. That was great. But
100%, 100%. So, as McMillian just said, a lot of people did more than a few people didn't expect to did pass, but there was an anomaly this go around. Everybody, there was an anomaly, and that anomaly was none other than Frieren herself.
Yeah.
Frieren herself. She was too strong, and too many people passed the second exam due to her strength and her help. So a anomaly calls for another anomaly, and Siri herself ascends down from the heavens, kind of like I said earlier.
Yeah.
But not to fight though. She didn't come down to whoop ass. She came down to proctor the third exam. A peaceful selection,
Yeah,
everybody.
she did it based off her intuition, and it's just. I would just like to point out, me and Ace, like we normally do somehow. Both of our theories end up being right in some way, shape, or form. I predicted last episode that based on the craziness of the second exam, most likely for the third one, we was gonna get some very tame. And Ace was like, "Siri's probably gonna show up because of Frieren being here and stuff like that."
Yeah.
And we were both correct.
Siri did show up, and we did get something very tame. So
yeah.
that was crazy. But yes, but during the time, Siri came down and everything about that, we also got introduced to some other first class mages as well. Of course, we saw the first two that took that part of the first and the second exam, Sensei and oh boy, I can't remember his name right now. But we also got to introduce to 2 more first class mages, being Flesh and Learning. I believe that's his name. Yes, Learning. Now
Learning, yeah.
we didn't learn much about Faust, but Learning, however, we learned that he was the very first class mage, as well as for right now, he was the only person who has been able to see past Frieren's fluctuations, of course, besides Fern and besides the Demon King, this was also a known feat that the Demon King has had as well, that he was the only demon to be able to see through Frieren's suppressing her magic ability technique. Well, not ability, technique.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, Learning, we basically saw that Learning, and also we learned, I believe Learning is usually the person that proctors the third mage exam, but due to obviously Frieren's appearance, Siri was like, nah, let me do this. So
now this wasn't confirmed, but however, with all that being said, Siri also made a statement. She was like, you made it to this height, but yet you could never surpass me, but yet you've grown so far, right? But you could never make it to my height. And she was like, I highly doubt you ever get to fight Frieren, even if you could beat her, right? With all that being said, plus what I just stated earlier, I'm gonna assume that our boy Learning is the strongest human mage alive right now.
Probably, I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, well, for those who have seen the episode 28, you probably know what I'm hinting at. But yeah, Learning definitely seems like he might, based on everything we've seen, even mentioned, yeah, he's probably the strongest currently, as well as far as humans, and probably the person Sari might have been hinted to in that one. I forgot what episode it was. It was either 25 or 26, where we see the flashback of Sari and Frieren talking about how humans, since they now have access to magic, one day a human will be strong enough to whoever will kill Frieren if the Demon King doesn't do it would be a human. That's probably this is probably like the type
one
of
of them that he envisioned.
Sari envisioned.
Yeah, I mean that'll be interesting because I mean, hell, even series, not yeah, Siri herself stated that if you was born during the time of during the demon when the Demon King was around, you would have went down in history. So
Yeah.
if the battle would have lasted a little bit longer, who knows? Maybe he would have been a major contribution to defeat the Demon King as well.
Yep. Maybe. Maybe.
But yeah, well, all right. Well, so moving on from there, everybody. Once again, it's time to get to the third exam. So it was a peaceful exam, and as we already stated, there was some winners and some losers. But we're gonna start with the losers first because it was fairly fast in the maze. So
Yeah.
we're gonna
She
start with the losers.
was rapid fire.
Yes, it's rapid fire. So just like she did, rapid fire here. Everybody who failed the third exam. So we got Kane, who was the water mage. We got Dunstay, who was the man with the mustache. That was the guy who and his friend got stabbed by the sense copy when they first got introduced, right? Next we got Lofi. That was the girl who was hanging out with Dinkin, and that was on his team as well. We got Ere. This was the girl that fought Frieren in the first test.
Yeah.
And then it was one more person.
Oh, it was the other mage from Ere and
Yes, he
What's
was
his
also.
name?
I wrote his name down, but it looks like I must have erased it on here. But yes, but he was also a Northern Soldier as well, though, from
Yeah.
the Mage Corps, unit.
Him, Warble, and
And
Ere
yes.
were part of the group. Yeah.
Correct. They were all on the same team together. So yes, he failed as well. Like I said, I wrote his name down. Do forgive me, but it looks like somehow it did get erased. But those are the people who failed. In the course, last but not least, Frieren herself.
Yep.
But unlike Frieren, she failed for different reasons. So everybody else failed simply because they just weren't strong enough, right? They were they essentially were the people who passed due to Frieren's being there, essentially.
Yeah, well, I liked one of the ones, or I mean, technically, this is the only one where I felt like we got like a major explanation on besides Frieren. But like Kane's was it wasn't even the fact that like she lacked skill. It was Sarah said you failed, and she asked why, and she was like, you can't even envision reaching my height.
Yeah,
and magic is all about being able to envision. Like you're based on your imagination stuff. Like
she was like, that's the basic principle.
Yeah, and if you can't even imagine like getting here, then you're like you can't take the steps to be a first class mage. And I was like, hey, like I can't even fault that reason,
Get him out of here. You're scared. My magic frightened you. Yeah, I was like, well, that makes sense right there because I also felt like Kana wasn't really. Because really all these people that did fail, we really didn't get to see them do much at all during any of these first exams, any of the tests, right? So they were either carried by their team, right, or they were carried by Frieren.
Yeah,
and then anybody else who didn't make it, they were either killed or seriously injured. You feel me? So yeah, I definitely didn't feel like Kana was one of them. So like you said, her series explanation was like, yeah, okay, I feel you. No arguments here. Next.
Exactly.
Next.
Yeah, but Frieren's was interesting because Frieren already said most likely Siri is gonna fail her because they've never seen like eye to eye on anything.
Yeah,
and I thought that was funny because just like when she was there, she was like, "You fail," and then Frieren was like, "All right," and she just was about to walk out, and Sarah was like, "You really can't like even stand up to me, like what?" Like, and I was like, I'm so like their dynamic is so interesting because like in a way. Sari is like Frieren's magic grandmother, I'll say, quote unquote, because she trained the Flamma who trained her.
I guess in a sense, technically.
Yeah, so it's just really funny because it's like they're like a family. It's like a family.
I didn't really even think about that, but technically, Frieren would be an extension of Siri, and technically, like she did teach her because she learned from Flemmy, and Flemmy learned directly from Siri. So.
That's why I said like they're like it's like a weird family dynamic between the two, where it's like Sari knows how strong Frieren is. Obviously, she's strong enough to be a first class mage, but she can't stand giving her the title
because at the same time she'd feel like Frieren doesn't live up to her expectations because you're this strong, but you should be a lot stronger. Because like one example she gave of for example the technique to where. She has to master suppressor Hermana, right? Of course, she mastered that to fight the demons, but her reason was like, you wasted all your time mastering this one. You could have just been learning other techniques and other ways of getting stronger. Like, why go this passive route to defeat the Demon King when you literally could have took a different route to defeat the Demon King was her route of thinking essentially.
Yeah, and then also the way she views Siri doesn't like the way Frieren views magic, which I think is
Yeah.
it's very interesting when two like masters in a field like view the field differently. Like cuz Frieren is more of like, magic is exploratory, it's fun. It can be used for combat, but that's not like her like what interests her. And
Hmm.
Siri is like this is a tool used to like destroy your enemies and like like the quickest ways possible. Like this is like systematic, like this is the
Systematic destruction.
destruction.
All
Yeah,
right.
like basically, and it is just so funny because like as much as like as strong as Flamma was, he views Flamma almost as like a failure of a student, which I'm just like that is insane to think about because she was essentially the first like sign of the human mage era. Like even though like
Yeah, they are humans.
she
Yeah.
was so far back to like before that reached the point, but she
Hmm.
was like the first sign that a human mage could even step to be as good as like an elf, like potentially reach what an elf
Her
could, right?
heights. Yeah.
And it's just crazy. She was like, "That's a failure," because she didn't get as far as I wanted her to. I'm like, that is
Yeah.
wild to think
And
about.
then that's also the double, it's like like you just said, the elf thing, because Fearing is also an elf. That's another reason why she feel like Fearing isn't living
Hmm.
up to her heights, because she feels like people who can basically essentially live a long time, only people like the races like that and other creatures and stuff like that, only they can truly master magic,
There's
right? Because
magic, yeah.
they're the ones who the long enough that they can live to actually do something. And that's why she also made a remark earlier about it was sad, but she does care about her students though. But
Hmm.
she made that remark about her student, like, damn, you're not gonna get to fight friend, you never reached my heights. It's disappointing. I shouldn't took on human students, right? And she's like, you guys just never live long. Just like, damn, is that really how?
Oh
Is
yeah,
that
that
really
was.
how you think about me?
I felt that way too when she said that. Like as soon, like after the second exam and everything, like how cold she was. I'm like, these are how these people look up to you and like like and work in your own organization. You just gonna talk to others like that? Like damn.
Like, it's like that, but but we do find out later that she does actually care about them. And she doesn't just
In
kind
her
of like
own,
Fearing. She doesn't really know how to express her
yeah.
feelings though. Fearing a little bit better though, but I guess Siri is kind of more like Fearing her early stages. But Siri didn't necessarily have those friends to kind of help her understand those feelings like Fearing
Yeah,
did. You
because
feel
I
me?
mean, like, and it's interesting. Well, yeah, and it's interesting in that fact because I feel like a part of that is that Sari herself is almost like removed from like a regular person. Like she's seen by so many people as almost like a god of magic, more than just like
Yeah.
more than just a practitioner. Because people come to her for like obviously to be evaluated. Like they go through her organization to be evaluated to be like what a mage is, and then not only that, but like when they get to the end, she grants them any spell she wants. So it's almost
Yeah.
like
The
she's
living grimoire.
yeah, exactly. Like she's above what other people like assume mages are. So like that probably even makes her
And
more detached.
I was going to touch upon this a little bit later, but since you kind of touched upon it now, I guess is it safe to say that not fearing Siri is the quote unquote the height of magic for this universe?
I mean, at least from what we've seen so far. Because again, like I said last episode, is when Sari talked about like the people that could potentially like step to fear and would be like a human mage who's just reached the pinnacle,
Hmm.
or the demon king, and the demon king being the only other person that could see through like fear and suppression technique, probably was also a great like crazy powerful mage to the point like I wonder what like I still wonder like how good that like was he like what was that like but like yeah I think at least like putting other people beside yeah Sari's probably the pinnacle of magic unless we actually meet like the gods in this world, then that's the only
If
other
there
way
is
like
anything like that, yeah.
yeah. But I would say Siri probably. I mean, like you don't get to name the living grimoire without probably being like the pinnacle of magic, right?
Because ain't no telling what she had to do to go, first of all, find all those grimoires and then accumulate them all in one spot and just let the motherfuckers know, hey, yeah, they all here and they mine. What you gonna do about it?
Yeah, and I
You
mean,
want it? You want something? You gonna have to come talk to me. You
there's
have to
also
come talk to me.
there's also like no telling how much of those grimoires are just people who have like who studied Siri's magic itself because like she like is much older than Frieren, she probably could have been responsible for some of them damn things. So,
Yeah, of course,
it's
there
crazy.
might be some, some Siri personals, some Siri one-offs in there somewhere just ducked off, who
Hmm.
knows? I definitely wouldn't, doubt it, especially with, it seems like Siri is the type of person who likes to, especially with attack magic and stuff like that. She, she's a battle mage from what we've been, what has been alluded to all series, right? So I would like to assume she has made her own attack spells by now, at least one or two, right?
Yeah.
There's some series specials sitting somewhere sitting around.
Mm. Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt it.
Correct. But yeah, so back to Frieren's failing though. After his series fails Frieren, we get to hear this lovely story about the Frieren's favorite spell, this field
The
of
field of
flowers that she
flowers.
can
Yeah.
create from using magical cores that we've been hearing about a many
Yeah.
times,
All
right?
throughout the series has come up. Specifically the episode I think where they visited that one village where Himmel, I guess he did some great act there, and they were like, we always come back to like refill the flowers.
Hmm.
And apparently, not only is that Fearon's favorite spell, but it's also Flamma's.
Correct.
So yeah, that was great. That was good until Sirius like, yeah, that spell sucks.
But yeah, so essentially Siri thinks that spell is useless, but Frieren goes tells about this story about how she met um Himo one day when he was a child and he was lost, and she helped him find his way home. He was scared, but how she motivated him to yeah, I guess start the journey back to his hometown because it was in the middle of the night, right? And this man
Mhm.
in the neck of the woods. She created a field of flowers. That she used her favorite spell. The spell to create a field of flowers, and that was the first time Himmel thought that magic was beautiful. And when Himmel grew up and just gathered his party together, he wanted Frieren. That was essentially the reason he
Reason, yeah.
wanted Frieren on his party. So that spell, in a sense, saved humanity.
Yep. It's crazy. And we'll get to the other stuff from the next episode, but like I really like that was like kind of like the start of this like the reasonings we got in the second episode. That was like a really nice through line or connection, I would say. Like how such a small thing can spark some like the greatest like things or like things you wouldn't even imagine, really.
Yeah. 100%. And then we ended off with Fearon telling Siri, "Hey, I know you was gonna fail me no matter what, but I know you're gonna pass Fern no
Fern,
matter
no
what
matter what. There's no way
because
you'd
she
overlook
gonna
her.
go plus ultra and surpass your expectations." And boy, did she!
That oh my god, that scene was great. I loved everything about that. Like from the moment, because the moment Fern walks in, and like this is the beginning of like the people that pass. The moment Fern walks in, all she says is, "Your magic, your mana, it's fluctuating." And Siri's like, "You want to,
the chosen one,
you want a job application right now?"
the prodigal son has returned.
She was like, "You want a job application right now?" I,
Just sign these dotted lines. I can take you to greater heights that nobody has ever seen before.
Immediately, I wanted to have a sign a contract. That's crazy.
Yeah, because that first year was like, she's gonna surpass my expectations. Look like look, my man has got her freaking pause. She can't even speak right now.
Mhm.
She's frozen. And then just what you said just happened. Yeah, it was amazing because like, oh, it was so beautiful because like the music and everything was playing in the background, right? And then
Mhm.
as she says that, everything just goes silent. It's just like, oh, it's cinema.
Yeah, that was great. I was like that moment. It was such a simple thing, but it evolved. Like the implications of it were like a great because like Sari starts the episode talking about like his current her current favorite student being that guy Lauren,
Hmm.
and she even
Learning.
said, yeah, sorry, learning, and she says, despite all the time you spent with me, despite how the heights you've reached, you can't even see my magic fluctuating, right?
And then what's even crazier, she also right before that, right? She mentions because everybody was talking about fearing suppressing her mana, right? And she was
Mhm.
like, it's a useful, not useful, it's a
It's
useless
useless, yeah,
technique
because
that it would take centuries to master,
master.
right?
Mhm.
but lo and behold, you done mastered it yourself. I thought just like the field of
Yeah.
flowers, I thought it was useless.
Useless. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Geniuses, man, they can never admit when other people are genius. That's the
Yes.
problem.
They were right. She just don't want to admit they were right. But
Right,
you,
yeah.
you think it's useless, but if you thought it was useless, you wouldn't sit here and master this useless technique yourself, Siri, right? Like, come on now. And she probably did it. I wouldn't be surprised if she started mastering it around the time after um okay, well, maybe she could have been always doing this, but the only reason I wouldn't say that it was because
Of how she talks
then
about it.
you know how they did the whole thing about how they did the whole story about suppressing your mind and tricking the demons and all that stuff,
Mhm.
right? And that's how Frieren ended up being defeated the Demon King, right?
Yeah.
If Siri was actually doing that the whole time, then why wouldn't she be able to defeat the Demon King? Well, I guess, even though I guess we found out the Demon King had that feat of being able to see through
To do
that.
it.
So I guess maybe that was because
I-
at the end of the day, it wasn't Frieren, right? It was Frieren and team. You feel
Yeah.
me? Frieren and party. It wasn't just Frieren by herself. So Siri pulling up by herself to fight the Demon King probably was gonna, unless Siri is her, she could just be her
I mean,
for all intents and purposes.
The way I interpret is that I don't know who developed the technique. I don't know if it was Siri or Flama, because the one who taught it to Frieren was Flama.
Yeah.
To have the suppressor.
So you felt like it was maybe a later thing too, then?
Yeah, because like the way
Okay.
it seemed like to me is that Flamo developed it to fight demons, and Siri being a hater, even being the genius hater that she is, could not admit that her student came up with a brilliant like skill.
So yes, okay. So if we going about that logic, then yes, it might have happened around the time of Flamma's death, because that would give us a century or two before the defeat of the Demon King.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm just saying, like, based on like what we've seen of the flashbacks between them, that just feels more like her style. So
yeah. I feel you, but
but-
it's just I just thought that was funny. Yeah, all this stuff, these spells and techniques
all
that you
this
call
shit talking.
useless. Yes, essentially all this shit talking you doing, but you're using these things.
Yeah. And they get blown away.
But then if we go about that route, right? If it was well, no, because the Demon King was defeated before Learning became a first class mage, so she could have still mastered it before then. But she was saying it takes a century or two. So if we're going by that logic, then it would have to be around the time of death of Flamma's death, some around that time, right?
Yeah,
If we're going by that logic.
I'd imagine so. Yeah. Yeah, and also Siri, and also like I guess to your point, just to like hit up on like Siri not fighting the Demon King, I don't know if she had an interest in doing that, because she also talks about not wanting humans to discover magic for themselves, and because
that does go back to the whole double.
Because she related the death of the Demon King starting the era of humans learning magic.
That's what Fleming was discussing and stuff, all that, because she was like, you wouldn't want the defeat of the Demon King, because like you said, it would bring upon the era of humans. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, she, like, to directly quote Flama was like, Frieren is a mage made for peacetime, which is the reason why she became the mage that fought
could
against
defeat the
Demon
King. Yeah.
Yeah, because she was like, myself, nor you, Master, could do it, because we're not mages made for that. Like the what comes after.
Yeah, like because what comes peace, is a whole bunch of stuff you got to start setting up, foundation, government, and all that stuff, and then just keeping the peace is
And Sari, and based on everything I've seen of Sari, that is not her interest. Her interest is to use magic to possibly be as destructive as possible. So like, yeah. But the moment her and Fern's conversation was great, because besides like the fact that Fern just like totally shocking her by being able to recognize that she was using the suppression technique. Like, I like the conversation between them two, where Siri's like, I can take you to greater heights. I can teach you all these things. I want to see you like what it looks like when you become a master and all this stuff. And she was like, I'm good. I am Frieren's student. Is my contingent?
Is my master, yeah.
Exactly. She was like, is my passing contingent on this? I doubt it. Cool. I'm gonna leave. That's like, it was just so like matter of fact. It was just very funny, because it was just like she was just trying to. Siri was trying to give her the world, and Fern was like, "No, I'm good. I'm all right.
Yeah, I mean that's Frieren's student right there. Then Siri was just like, yeah, Frieren taught you well. She done schooled you on this, right? She know I can't pass up a student potential. Just pass. Get out of here.
Yeah, yeah.
Get out my face.
You
You
know, accept my
pass.
offer. We don't accept my offer. Leave.
You'll come around eventually. You'll come around eventually. Next up, and this was one of my favorites as well. We got the OG Dinkin stepping up to the field. He also passed as well. But so we all know, friend, we learned that Dinkin decided to take the first class major exam because he wanted to see a certain visit a certain grave in his hometown back in the northern area, right? The Northernlands. We come to find out that the person he wanted to visit his grave, we all the fans were
I think,
speculating
yeah,
this all
yeah.
along. It was his wife,
Wife,
right?
yeah.
Everybody, he wanted to go visit his wife, and it's crazy. We some more stuff we also learned about Dinkin as well is right. Essentially, his wife was a noble person. She was born in noble, right? But she was also sick, very, very sickly. And the only way he figured that he could heal her was to become a nobleman and gather all this money and
Power,
influence and
resources, yeah.
power. So I guess he can afford a good maybe medical doctors or the church or something. I'm not sure how the medical government and all that stuff plays out in this fantasy world, but he figured he needed money and power to essentially make her better though. But at the
Yeah.
time where the first class mage, the magical bureaucracy, wherever I can't remember the name of it in it right now, but the
The
magic
association that they
bureaucracy,
made,
the
yeah.
magic association that Siri is the head of right now, when that was created, right? That was right around the time where his wife died, unfortunately, and that threw him into a depression. That explains why he never went to become a first class mage back in
yeah.
his younger days. It was because the death of his wife took a heavy toll on him. What you think about that, man?
I thought, to be quite honest, I thought they made I thought that was a great storytelling perspective because you see Dinkin and granted, like I said, like when he fought Fear and everything, he didn't really leave I guess I wanted him to impress her very magically, is what I said. He impressed her in a different way, but even though he wasn't amazing in that regard or extremely special in that regard, he still was very much he had the confidence of somebody who had already been through a lot and seen a lot and everything and understood where he was in terms of his place. And other people, other first class mages, thought he should have been a first class mage. I was just this is very interesting. He doesn't already have the title. He seems to be a very important person. So for us to finally get a backstory on why, I was okay, this makes sense.
This makes it, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. And then I'm right around with you there, but ultimately continue on with the story here. Siri ends up passing Dinkin because at first glance, Siri assumed that the fire inside of Dinkin was burnt out and she had no more use for burnt ashes. But it turns out that fire inside that dog was still alive. He still got that dog in him because when he first saw Siri, he thought about how he was going to fight her.
Yeah.
The audacity of this motherfucker. The audacity.
I thought that was great. The based on her passive, because she was like, I have no use for old people. That doesn't make any sense. You're a mage already washed up. But I noticed when you walked in here, you was trying to figure out how to murder my you passed. I was like, this is a wild ass reason to pass somebody. But hey,
he was like, nobody will ever think to even fight me. That's crazy. You still got some fire in you. You pass. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
That was just so funny to me because I'm just like, yeah. I mean, Dinkin. Look, Dinkin is one of my favorite side characters from this season. I'm out of mana, but I'm not out of options.
But
Dinkin.
I'm not out of options. Yes, I'm gonna. In any, I don't care. From now on, in any anime with magic system, that is the meme I'm going to. I may be out of mana, but I'm not out of options. that meme will go down in history. Fucking with me.
Yeah, so that was great. Seeing him pass was also really good in the moment.
Yes. But the craziest thing about that is the flip side behind the fire and passion is him. Next up, we have a fucking psychopath, Yubel. This motherfucker right here needs to be locked up because without zero words, Siri just looks at her and just says, "You pass." What? So before I go, well, how do you feel about that?
I I wanted there to be a slight conversation between them two, just because Yubel is such an interesting character. Like, we talked to her a lot about her last episode, with the fact, like, despite all conventional reasons of magic, she's able to just say "fuck it, we ball," and scissors cut. All right. She says, "I don't give a fuck what defense. The fuck is defense magic? Scissors cut. All right." If it can be cut, it will be. That is,
If it can be cut, it will be.
that is Yubel. And I wanted to see, like, a conversation between, like, like the pinnacle of magic, and then a person that kind of defies, like, the visual the visual information of what magic gives you. And it was like, nah, fuck it. I don't want no parts. You just got it. I was like, I'm kind of mad, but at the same time,
I'm with you there, because like I was upset as well, because I kind of want, like you said, the reasons for everybody passing were so good. So like I wanted to hit the reason behind the true reason behind, why she passed, right? But once you really think about it, okay, if we really think about it, she has already killed 2 first-class mages, right? So let's just call it a day. You pass. Get the hell out of my office.
You are an anomaly. Go.
Get the hell out of my office. Oh man, yeah. So I was like, okay, I guess I can't be mad at that. Once I really sat down and thought about it.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's how it was. I was like, I wanted a conversation, but I get it, Siri. I get it. I probably, at the end of the day, probably say
it's probably safe to say she got it. Yeah. She got it. But yeah, so next up, my boy. All right, my boy right here, a genius, the prodigal son, the true embodiment of work smart, not hard.
This was,
we got land.
Yeah,
or land.
His was so interesting, because I legitimately at some point I thought, I was like, that'd be crazy to find out that it was all clones.
I think we kind of played around with this at the beginning, but this truly never really occurred to me.
It was
as an option.
It was, for me, it was such a, like, I thought about it, but it as quickly as it entered my mind, it left my mind, because I'm just like, nah, that's I was like, that'd be insane, right? Like the amount of control and, like, probably, like, energy you need to do that is just crazy. And
off
then
the charts.
And then for him to walk in there and Sari be like, to send a clone in here is crazy, and him being like, "Oh, I'm still here," and she's like, "No, you're not. You're at home. You never left home.
You never left home. Tea. What are you having tea over there or something?"
No, and him being like, "No one. Bell spent hours, days with me. She never
even figured it out."
And I'm like, nigga, I've been watching you this whole time,
and I didn't even figure that out. Like, what? Like, what are you saying to me? Because, like, wouldn't it? First of all, let's like you just said, let's truly think about it, right? This man's clones had to damn near be a perfect replica. Like, we were just talking about, like, the fucking clones from the dungeon, right? Fuck all that. This guy's clones had to be a damn near perfect replica. If people only Siri, if somebody only like Siri could truly see that it was a clone. Like, none of the first class mages said anything about this.
Yeah, and not only that, but and it would be crazy. It'd be one thing if these were just, like, clones that barely did anything, but they not only, like, replicated.
They have mass. Yeah, they have mana. Yeah, they can talk.
Exactly. I was like, the fact to me, because the moment that happened, all I remembered was him saving Yubel in the dungeon.
Yes,
and then him fighting off the metal, like, Warble's metal dude. Mm-hmm. Like in the first exam, and I'm just like, it's insane to think that, like, not only was he making clones to do, like, fighting, those clones had clones to the point where, like, they were tricking other people. Like, I was like, this is insane.
And then is it like, okay, like, now that you think about it, like, is it that type of thing? Like, well, okay, if I make a clone does the clone have to be like come directly out of me, or can I determine where the clone is made, or can
I,
I break off a clone from another
another
clone? So if
clone.
I have a
Yeah, I
clone
was.
like 1,000 miles away, can I just break off a clone from that clone there? Now I got two clones there. Like we don't know. This man is crazy. This is really truly crazy once you think about it.
Yeah, I would. I mean, granted, they don't really go very heavily into every spell in
Yes,
this show, but I really would love like a breakdown of Land's spell, like what
spell
spell
and how
he's
it
using and
works.
how it
Yes,
works. Because I'm
because
just like, did he? Because in my mind, I'm
I
like, did
see you.
he?
I see why you Bell want this spell now.
Yeah, because I'm
Because
like,
this is wild.
in my head, did he travel to Allburst first, and then as soon as he's been to a place, he can just summon a clone there? Like as long as he's
Correct.
got like the visual information, or is he just like so good that as long as he knows a general location of something, he can
He
summon a
just walks
clone?
the clone there, you know? Or
Yeah,
does it not? It doesn't it really doesn't really matter? He knows where it's at. Can he autopilot any clone? Like, can he just like hit just like he leave the clone on autopilot, but if he needs to like manually hack into the clone, like oh nah, I'm here now, but it's really the clone. But it's no telling what it truly is. Like this is really crazy.
easy. And yeah, after that, I was like, yeah, give him the first class mage.
Just give him the Siri passes, man, because of the sheer size of his massive balls.
Yeah, basically. And also, I'm just imagining like you got to be a genius to work something like that out. There's no
Yes.
fucking way that you can do all this complex ass spell work
And then on top of that, it's like,
besides the like.
does your clone constantly consume mana? Like, are you constantly using mana? And if that is the case, motherfucker, how much mana do you have?
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, it insane. Land was, whoo, man, that was a great reveal because I never. It popped in mind for a second and then popped out. And that was great.
Yeah, because like you said, well, I think what's really dispelled it was like you said that scene in the dungeon when he pops up behind to save old girl. That's when I was like, okay, that's old boy right there, right? He can't, he here. But then at the same time, I don't know. But like we said, work smart, not hard, man. The
Yeah.
entire time, this man wasn't even at the exams. He just chilling at home.
And after that, you got it.
That's
Like,
my
what else
side
can I
character
say?
right there. That's my side character right there.
What else could I say? You got it.
That's my boy right there. All right. So next up, we got Werble, the captain of the Northern Magic Corps. Here we go. So what you think about this guy passing? So ultimately, Siri ends up passing Warble because of his battle prowess, right? Out of all of these second class mages, he has the most battle experience. And at the end of the day, I think he was one of the most that kind of connected with Siri on
Yeah.
the personal level because she asked him what was his favorite spell, and he was like, well, I don't really have a favorite spell. I don't like or dislike any spells. Magic
yeah.
is a tool for killing for me,
Killing.
right? And when he said that, Siri had that same smile she had
Biggest
for
grin.
Fern as well. So
Yeah.
I think she kind of connected with that on a personal level as well. So that and because his battle prowess led to his passing. So what do you think about that?
I mean, I liked it. I I have like it really any problem with that one because I was just like, beside like I could tell Warble is a very skilled mage, and also like his unique magic, the being able to just like lock eyes with some, or like keep your eye on somebody and then being able to like seal them is really powerful as it is simple. So I was like, that's kind of cool, but also like the fact that he connected with Siri not only on like you're an impressive mage, but second, you share an ideology that I share.
Yeah.
Like that just kind of made sense to me that after that she was gonna pass him. Like I didn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't really like a question in my mind to be like, all right, I don't dislike this or like this. Like this is just kind of like, yeah, it makes sense. Like you are basically like a human version of her, probably. So like, hey.
Almost, yeah. So it was like, I like you. Stick around. Let's see what it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that.
I like you, kid. You remind me of me. Shit with that essentially. But yeah, but all right. So last but not least, we got the final person who passed the first class major exam and ascended to greater heights. We got Method. The illusionist / healer that was in the party, right?
Yeah. The person who took on Fern's clone 101.
Yeah, and the person who took on Fern's clone 101. Yes, that is the same. That is the feat that she attained during this show as well. But it don't get no more human than this. So I guess so. Method passes, and I think the way I interpret it, it was Siri ended up passing method simply because she wasn't afraid of her, right?
Yeah, that's a
See,
yeah.
Siri asked her, what did you think about when you first saw me? Method was like, oh, I just thought you were small and cute, right? And so,
Mhm.
and Siri just shook her head like, oh my, what's wrong with these humans? You
Yeah, and
pass.
pass. And so this one is interesting to me because I was wondering, like, somewhat like you, I felt like she passed her because she, like, Siri, like when Kane first sees Siri, Siri's intimidating because of the mana she produces, and it's like it's crazy to think a being could get that powerful, right?
Hmm.
But like for Method, when she sees it's just like you're just a small and cute being to me. But like one thing that kind of like made me think a little bit more about it, like magic is all about visual information and how you perceive things and stuff like that. So like for her to see this titan of magic and just to be like, oh,
And perceive it as a small and
it's a
cute
door, yeah,
being.
like there's power within that in itself, and I think that's kind of what also probably weighed into serious factor. I
Okay,
might
that's
be
a
overthinking it, but
no,
like
no.
that
That's
was
no.
something that came
I
to
like
me.
the way you think. That's a good way to look at it as well. I like that.
Yeah, I was that's kind of how it came to me because I felt like it was kind of like a reverse of Kane's thing. Like you see a like essentially a monster, something you feel like you can't even obtain, and this other person walks in here and all she sees is a small, cute, like something akin to a child, even though she knows it's not. Like
No.
that's I think essentially touches on the harbors on the fact that like magic in itself works off of your imagination and your visual senses, like how that all goes together. And
Hmm.
that was just that moment was like a mirror,
Yeah.
basically. I really so like to me that's kind of how it ended up. Um,
Okay. I feel you. In that sense. No, I like that line of thinking as well. 100%. 100%. But all right, but yeah, so that is everybody who both failed and passed the final test, and all the people who became first class mages. Everybody. I do want to stop and take the time. Do see we're like 46 minutes in, so I want to say, hey, everybody, thank you all for tuning in so far. This one is going to be a long one. This one is solely dedicated to Frieren, so I hope you guys are enjoying the discussion so far.
yeah.
But all right, so let's go ahead and continue. Um, but yeah, so after everybody passed, we get the little scenes with everybody passing and failing. We get some nice heartwarming scenes of the aftermath of everybody just walking around the city and just discussing and talking about how they either passed or failed, right? So we come across Dinkin, and I already mentioned about some of the backstory we learned about Dinkin with him and his wife when we come across him at this point, but
Hmm.
one thing I did not mention was that one of the reasons that he got into magic was because he admired Frieren and her deeds that she done in the heroes party. What do you think about that?
I really liked this, and also like I mean we haven't touched on, but I'll say like Warble's reasoning that we also learned
Yeah,
in
we
the
get
same
into that
episode.
next.
Because to me it was very like these people. One, Denkin is very old. They don't necessarily put like a date on him, but like obviously he's old enough to have like grandchildren, probably, right? If not great grandchildren. And he to find out that like this super powerful human, like other things, it was also inspired by the actions of the heroes party. He like the reason he even came up here and was able to meet Frieren was because of something Frieren, like just the actions Frieren did while in the heroes party. I thought was like really cool. And then two, for Denkin not even to like flip out when his fucking hero was in the same room or when he was fighting his hero,
Yeah.
what is also really impressive to me
I
because I'm
mean,
just
that
like,
also kind of doubles back to another reason, gives him another reason to want to fight Frieren, right? Because this is the person you looked up to and the person that essentially made you want to become a
yeah, become a
mage.
mage.
Now, okay, now this person is right in front of you and you have the opportunity to go one-on-one against her. Why would you not take that opportunity?
Yeah, no, but I'm
Right?
saying like all that just kind of made me like him a bit more because
Even
like,
more. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that it builds on top of that is
mhm.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was just that was a really nice moment, especially like how even like he turned it to Fern, like your teacher's someone even really special to me, and like could you let her know this? And Fern was like, no, I think you should tell her. Like I think she'd
Hmm.
appreciate it. I
Yep.
just thought that was really cool, especially it also touches on the fact of like Fearing as a concept, like as a series, the concept is very like character focused and
Yes.
shows like because like technically the journey that we're going on starts because Fearing wants to connect more with people.
with her, yeah,
Um,
with the people in her past
best, yeah, and
party
to
as well,
yeah, and
mainly female, but yes.
yeah, but I'm saying like for Denkin to even be touched by someone who didn't like understand what her actions were doing,
Hmm.
I thought that was just like really important to the series because it shows like even a person who like doesn't take the time to notice like these things can have such a significant impact.
Impact on the world,
It's
yeah.
just it's just very core to the series. I feel like so like that was just really cool.
100%, 100%. So for some more heartwarming character moments we got in this show, we got it's a little bit more backstory about Warble as well. And now this definitely make me like Warble a lot more as well because I didn't know how I felt about him at first because I didn't know this man was a psychopath or killer
Yeah, and he's
or a
very
lover at heart. I didn't
he,
know, but I guess this kind of helped me get a feel for the
feel for
guy.
him more. Yeah,
Yeah.
like Warble, like I would definitely agree with you. Warble was definitely one of those characters. Like I don't know where to place you on like the science scale chart because I was like, there's like when you first meet him, you like he talks about how I'm a command. You know, I was in war. I did all this other stuff, blah blah.
I done
But he
killed
has a
children before even.
yeah, but he was like, but he has a hesitation to kill, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
this is interesting. And then he has that episode where he runs around with Stark, and I'm just like, I don't know where to place you because now you're just like some cool dude doing cool shit with Stark. Like, you know, like I was like, it's very interesting. Like, his dichotomy was like very interesting. And then you get this, like his backstory of like how Himmel inspired him. And then like at first it was the big shit Himmel did, fighting
Yes.
dragons, taking on the Demon King, like the story, like his great stories. But the people in his village who actually got to meet him just talked about how Himmel helped them carry like heavy boxes or fix their roof or stuff like that. He was wondering why that was so important. And then one day, demons, some demon remnants, after the Demon King died, came and attacked his town, and he realized,
He
whoa,
kind of
if
all
him,
came together.
yeah, like while Himmel did these great things and it helped like the world stay, he also took the time to help like just
Smaller
everyday
people
people.
out, people like me. Had he not
Yeah,
and came and saved my village wouldn't have been here
I mean here,
regardless if he defeated the Demon King
Demon
or
King or
not,
not,
right?
yeah. And I just really one from a person who really likes fantasy storytelling, I
Hmm.
really love that aspect because
Yes.
you barely get to, I feel like, hear about the smaller things that people
Yes.
did that really make an impact. Like that's one thing I really like about the Avatar Last Airbender series.
Hmm.
Like while we get to see Aang kind of grow over like the course of like 3 seasons and him work his way up to becoming like this epic avatar, right? Defeating
Hmm.
Violet Orza. But along the journey, we
He
got
helped
to see
people
him,
out.
yeah, do some very small things and very silly stuff. And I really liked how we got in Warble, we got a character who personified a person who learned the smallest stuff also has just as
The
big as
biggest
impact
impact, correct.
as him taking on the demon. You know, like that was such a good like message to drive home in this
Yes.
episode. I felt.
And essentially, that's what Himmel inspired him to also become a person who wants to go around as, trying to save as many people and help people as much as he could as well. Because Himmel essentially, took time out of his, day to save his village. The world was literally in turmoil because, because
Yeah.
of Demon King. The world is legit in turmoil right now, but yet he still took the time out of his day to find his way to my little village and save it, right?
Yeah, and even and like to go even further, the flashback that happens when he's talking to Frieren and it's them trying to like help this farmer carry his stuff, even though like they got like I think it was like a sheep crossing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And was it, I think it's not high tier, but the dwarf that says
Yeah,
Himmel,
the
this is
dwarf,
kind of
yes. Heisen,
Himmel,
I
yeah,
think that's his
Heisen,
name.
yeah, he's like, this is kind of like a waste of time. And Himmel's like, I mean, if we don't take, he was like, I'm not in this to kind of just save the world. I'm here to help people, and
Correct.
I'm going to do that. Like he was like, if I see someone in need, why not help them? And I just really like how that just kind of wrapped up the whole thing of like the smallest things also save the world. Like it's not just the big shit that saves people; it's
Mm-hmm.
the smallest things that can save people. And I just felt like that those two, Denkin and Warble, being inspired by both like Frieren and Himmel, kind of succinctly wrapped up like what a hero's journey is. It's not just
Entails,
the big,
yes.
yeah, the big stuff definitely helps people, but like even the smallest things are like is important. And I
Is
just,
what keeps the world going around. The little
mhm,
people, make sure the little people are all right. You feel me?
yeah,
100%. 100%. But yeah, no, man, Fearing just was the time, man. But yeah, we're rounding off to the end here. So after everybody received all their first class mage gifts or their spell, right?
Yeah.
We have a little moment outside the citadel. We have a little moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got Frieren who's chilling outside with Stark, just waiting on Fern to come back outside from receiving her gift slash spell from Siri. For for her for achieving, there we go. First class mage, right,
Hmm.
right. And learning pulls up on her and just simply says, "Hey, I know who you are. Your name, I know you, friend. I admired you, but sadly, I gotta go down in history because if I don't, less and less stuff about my master is gonna
It's gonna end up as history.
basically be staying on the world. Like I want to leave my stain on the world, so more stuff about my master has an impact on the world, right? I want to become a legend, and the best way to do that is take down is either die trying to take it down the legendary mage or succeed.
Yeah.
Lightning blast, well, not lightning blast,
But
Eldritch blast,
yeah.
Eldritch blast.
If you will. Get some of the D&D in here. Yeah, I have we and Ace talked about this a little bit before the episode, but like this is just wild because I was like, all right, I can see where this conversation is going. I don't like it, and it just I was I was like, this is like the most calmest crash out of a character I've ever seen because he was just like, I'm willing to die
I'm
to
willing to
get
die about it
to get
right
my name
now.
because he acknowledges that like Fearing is legendary and that he's and
Hmm.
then like Flamma, who's the other who was her teacher, is the only other mage besides Fearing, I guess, to like get her
That's
name.
talked about.
Yeah, to get her name in history. And even then, I think he acknowledged the fact that like right now she's not as talked about because Fearing's like the is the bee's knees, right? And he's just like, if I don't do this, less of Siri is around later. And he's like, we got to do this. And I'm just like, this just like, you have to really?
Do you have to?
Like,
Nah, man, listen. As soon as old boy pulled up, I already know what he pulled up for. I said he here to fight for him. I already know. I already know. I'm like, because listen, everything at the beginning of the episode alluded to this, right? So I was like, he pulled up to fight for him. His Siri was talking shit. Now he got on his feelings. So now he done pulled up to fight for him.
I was just like, man, legacy. I was like, people in legacy really. This is why you should not be concerned with that shit too much because you start doing dumb shit.
But thankfully, the fight didn't go anywhere. Truly,
Yeah.
Farron ended up telling another heartwarming story about Siri and how she actually does care for her students. But this goes back to what we were saying earlier that Siri just doesn't know how to express her feelings, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she does actually care about her students because Siri tells Farron that she actually does remember each of her students' personality and what their favorite spell was, and so
even if
um,
even if she doesn't
even if they went down in history or not,
yeah.
it did not matter.
Yeah, even if she didn't agree with them or not, because she was just like, well, like one thing she said that really stuck out to me was like, no matter what height they reach, I never regret taking any of
Taking
my
them
students.
on, yeah. She never regret taking in on any of the students. So, which also was another point that you wanted to talk about, right? It seems like Siri takes on all the first class mages as apprentice, which is kind
Yeah.
of interesting because once again,
Or like she attempts to, if she does, if she doesn't do it like exactly, she at least attempts. It seems
at
like,
least,
like,
yeah, because it looks like Fern turned it down, so it looks like you
Mhm.
can turn her down, but it looks like she does, like you said, attempts to, right? And it kind of, Flemma's wishes kind of came true, right? Flemma wanted Siri to take the lead and usher the humans into a new era of magic, and that's kind of, in a sense, that's really what she's
what she
doing, right?
done, yeah. Yeah, as much, and it's crazy to think about. Like I said, like it's so interesting to see this because, like I said, Siri, in a way, like Fearing must have a problem with connecting with people, or at least being very upfront about her emotions. Like the
Mm-hmm.
kind of how Fearing said, Siri, as old as she is just a child, really,
Mm-hmm.
because described to Fearing that she did not want the era of human mages to come about, but yet right now she can't see herself as anything I truly feel like Siri is like I am an usher. I'm a teacher. I am grooming these young mages to be the best they possibly can, even if they don't reach where I would like them to. I remember all of them. I care about
Yes.
all of them. She
And
just
then
has a shitty time telling people.
another and then another way I was thinking about it as well is I think Siri is looking for her equal, right? Because
Probably.
remember what she said to Fran? She was like, I can take you to greater heights, like you can reach my levels and stuff like that. I think she's looking for equal somebody to surpass her, or maybe
Yeah.
just maybe on truly, and it's gonna sound crazy, but on some Goku shit, right? She wants to fight somebody, maybe, but
I'm not.
she's also, but maybe not even on that sense, but she's definitely looking for somebody on her evil just to
Yeah.
also reach that level of the true height of magic along
Yeah.
with her, right?
I think that's probably what it is. I think like the fact that elves outlive people so much, I feel like can be very lonely in and of itself. But like also Siri, I think even though she talks about how like to her magic is a tool, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think just kind of how like Frieren and Fern have, she has a love for this, and she would like to see someone get
Else
to
also get to
else
her
get to
heights.
her height, or if
Yes.
not surpass it, right? Like
Yes.
because that's I feel like if when you love something or love someone, you want to share
Share it with other
the
people.
yeah, you want to share it with other people, and I feel like that's what she's in her own twisted way, like however she like interprets it. I think that's what she's doing by taking students. She
In a
wants
sense, yeah,
to
like because in her mind, like only she truly knows how great the height of magic truly is,
is,
right?
and she
So
wants
she
other
wants
people to
to
see it.
give this gift to everybody else as well, but it truly only takes in her eyes as well, like a certain type of person to reach
To get there.
there.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like it's because I feel like her not wanting the human era to come about could also just be the fact that like she lost Flama, and
Hmm.
to her that could have been the like to
The
her
closest thing,
someone,
maybe.
yeah, that someone got, and she lost her too soon. And there's
Yeah.
only there's only so much like, and because of just how the show is, we probably will never see exactly how much that hurt her, because I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure they had a very close bond, regardless of like Siri's ability to show it, and that probably devastated her for
And
her best
I'm
student
probably so, but
to
at the
never
end of the day,
reach
that's
that.
probably why she ended up doing,
Mhm.
series Flamba's Last Wishes, right? Ended up becoming the leader of the Magic Society. I can't remember the
Yeah,
name. What's the name of this damn thing?
I think it's like I think it's like the Continental State or something like the Covenant. I don't know. Y'all know what we talking about.
Y'all know what the hell we talking about. Yeah, but like I said, she still is abiding by Fleming's last wishes, right? And she's leading the humans into the era of humans, essentially, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But then at the same time, like I said, I do feel like she's trying to find her equal or just somebody to come up to the height of magic along with her to just to bask in this its
Mhm.
glory or whatever.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, no, this is crazy. I love Frieren, man. This was a good series.
Yeah.
Damn, this was a good series. Oh man, so but as always, all good things must come to an end though.
Mhm.
And we round this episode off slash this season off with once again another great story with essentially Frieren telling recalling a time about Himmel explaining why he doesn't do fast goodbyes, right?
A long
And
goodbyes.
long goodbyes. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna let you take it from here.
Yeah. So we basically get to see like so he what Stark and Fern say, like, we spent so much time with these people and everything, but we're like just kind of leaving. Like, what's up with that? And Frieren, I mean, she explains it terribly, but basically we see that like Himmel, even during his time, like how people came to love him after spending so much time in the village. He said that like we don't do long goodbyes because the thing is along, we meet these people along a journey that we're still taking, and these people are even also on journeys. So eventually, most likely, we will meet back up with these people, and it'd be kind of embarrassing if we got all teary eyed and sad, and said goodbye, even though we'll see them again at some
We'll see
point.
them again, and
And
see shit like that. That got me. Small tears were shed.
yeah,
Small
no, I
tears
mean,
were
like,
shed.
I will not lie, that was very heartwarming, and it made, and again, something I really like about like fantasy stories, because that makes sense. Like if these, especially like with the other mages of the story, like when Kane and when Kane like showed up to even thank Frieren and everything, like it wasn't like a very long goodbye. It was like, thank you for the help and everything, but they're still mages. They're still practicing. One day
Mhm.
they hopefully will reach like first grade level, and eventually
And
they'll
then one
probably
day,
run
hopefully, truly, they will run against Frieren
against
again,
Spirit
right?
again. Yeah.
If they're studying magic, so hopefully they do see Frieren again.
Yeah, Fear and Fern and all them. So it's like I that was a really what a great way to like send season one off,
Yes,
because it was like even in itself like it's like, you know, don't be sad that like season one ended. Most likely we're getting a season two. Like,
We're
and it be, you
it's
know,
gonna be odd when we meet again because we
yeah,
coming back, baby.
yeah.
Damn, Frieren took the anime community by storm, man. This shit is so phenomenal. But yes, but also at the end, we're gonna round it off with this as well. What spell did Fern take? Everybody?
A spell to do laundry. And Sari hated it, obviously. But it
Obviously,
was
but we got a meme out of it though, so that's a win in my book.
true. True. But that was great. I don't know what I expected her to take. Like I even think we talked a little bit about off screen, like we weren't sure if she was gonna take one, because Fearon's whole philosophy of like magic is something that you discover. It's not something
Mhm.
like you're given the answer to. But I do like that one kind of Fearon was, it wasn't even like something grandiose. It was just kind of like, I want to know how to make this tedious
Easy.
task easy. How do I do that? And it was just like, here you
Simply
go.
non-existent, if you will.
Yeah. Such a good, such a small good thing. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, once I saw it, I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. That's Fern for you. So, I mean, I'm not mad at all. Sounds about right. Because I mean, she don't need any other magic. All she needs is Zoltrek, right? That's what a master taught her. So why would she take anything else other
Yes.
than something that would be helpful in her everyday life?
Nice, right? Yeah. This is what a mage in peacetime looks like. They just be doing shit. You feel me?
Fern, the youngest mage to reach first class mage.
Yep.
Give it up, everybody, for Fern,
And also,
the real
I mean,
one.
and also, I don't know. Real quick before we like wrap up everything.
Mhm.
At near the end of this episode, Fearon even says, you know, Fern is such a unique like type of person, and like mage. Eventually, she said Fern eventually will surpass and become an even more famous mage than her. What
In
did
this time,
did you?
yeah.
Yeah, did you have any thoughts about that? I personally thought that was really cool.
Beautiful, because I mean, throughout the entire season one, we've been alluded to how strong Fern is this entire time, right? And then just like Fern herself said, you know, Fern has grown a lot. She has reached a first class mage, the highest status a modern mage could achieve. She essentially reached not yet, but in a sense, she hasn't reached the top, but she's reached the top. Like
Yeah.
she's at the upper echelons, but she hasn't reached the peak. There we go. But she's at the top of magic, right, in this world. So it's crazy, and just to go and see her from, I guess, a child basically is what we saw met her at, right? From
Yeah.
a child to a first class mage, the youngest one at that, just goes to show you her how much of a genius she is as well. So I love it.
Yeah, it was great. I can't wait to see like what that journey looks like, because while this is like the end, quote unquote, of like Fury's journey, Fern's journey is just obviously beginning. So I can't wait to see what this will look like when everything comes back and how that will be realized. I just thought that was a really nice note to end off on. Is like Fury recognizing that, like, you know, even though my student has a lot to still learn, I have a lot to still teach. I can envision her becoming
Better
more
than me.
recognizable or better than me in a way.
Even if more than likely, well, ain't no more than likely, you know, Frieren is gonna outlive her, right? But you know, none of that matters though.
Yeah, yeah. I still think that's a very cool like touch.
Yeah. No, I mean, closing thoughts here. I mean, Frieren was phenomenal, and definitely after season one has definitely hopped into my top all-time fantasies, right along there with Mashuko Tensei, right?
Yeah.
You know, I saw people, I saw something online earlier today where people arguing, you know, which one is better, Mashuko Tensei or Frieren, and I'm just like, well, first of all, like it's just so hard to even compare the two. They're both good, but for different reasons in their own rights, right? For one instance, first of all, you know, Mashuko is a isekai, right? So you know, we're also getting a story about a man who's getting a second chance at life.
Yeah.
You know, it's already just two totally separate things. Even though they're both fantasy, they're set on separate premises, right?
Yeah.
So they're great for different things. But I mean, just Frieren though, just what I truly love about Frieren is just we get that true fantasy story of like we never get to see a fantasy story after
It's over.
the
after the
journey is
major,
over,
yeah.
right? The journey is over, but yet a new journey has started. And we never got to see what that type of journey would look like after the main journey is already over. And just getting to see something like that in Frieren has been a phenomenal journey. And just me personally, I've been loving just getting to know all the different characters and stuff like that in Frieren as well. That has been the character development has been amazing in Frieren, bro. It has
Yeah,
been
no, it's good.
amazing.
Yes, it's been great. I what I will say, not to like to do the Mushoku, like to compare the Mushoku to the thing, because I get it. Like they're both centered around mages.
Hmm.
There's a lot of character work in both because Rudy's a very interesting character to put, I guess, like to put it simply, right? But like I really feel like Fearing is a very unique story because, as we said, you don't really get to see what an adventure after like the big, the big bad is taken out. With like because like the like the fantasy technically is done. Like
Yeah,
the Demon King is dead.
it's technically done. The Demon King is defeated. So like there's truly no journey to go on. But like Frieren is breaking that boundaries.
Boundary,
Yes, there
yeah,
is still a journey to go on.
and it's really showing like kind of like I think what the core of why people really enjoy fantasy is the connections characters make and like the growth of a character because while Fearin is like this nigh immortal being, she's still someone who has to experience growth, and each person that she meets in a way contributes to that growth, and that's why I
Yes.
feel that's a big part of like the fantasy epics, and I think that's what's really kind of making it help stand out, and why
Yes.
I really like Fearin. I know, so it's been I'm like I obviously I don't think we need to rate it. Obviously, you can tell kind of where we sit. But one thing I will say that I found interesting, or I thought it was cool when Fearin ended. Apparently, on Mile and I think a different anime website, Fearin jumped up to like within like the top three
Hmm.
of
Well, no, I
like
think it jumped up
animes of all
to. I think
time,
it
if
topped
not
to
number
top
one.
one. I think it ended up passing.
Okay,
Full Metal
yeah,
Alchemist at one
yeah,
point.
I heard
And I
that.
think it
So
still might be there, but who knows? But yeah, it ended up
yeah,
passing Full Metal Alchemist at one point, which was crazy. Which
yeah.
just
So
goes
I
to
mean,
show the popularity.
yeah, I was about to say I'm pretty sure some people already consider it like a classic. I don't know if I'm there yet because there's obviously still more to tell. But I love this show. I definitely think if you have not seen it, one, I don't know how you're watching this episode.
It's shaping up
But
to be a classic, right?
yeah,
It's shaping up to be one because, like you said, the season one off to a phenomenal
phenomenal
start.
start. Yeah,
Phenomenal start.
like I
And
cannot wait till
uh,
it returns.
yeah, 100%. So definitely to round it off here was talk about some of the stuff we're looking forward to for season two, right? So for me, I think one of the main things I'm looking forward to season two is some more development from Stark,
Yeah.
because simply because this latter half of the season one was focused more on Fearing and Fern, and they're becoming a first class mage, right? So we didn't get to
Hmm.
see a lot from Stark. So definitely, I want to see some more from Stark in season two, and then maybe let's see what's going on with these wars in the
The
Northernlands as
lands, yeah.
well. Like, why are the demons acting up? Are they
Oh,
trying to revive the Demon King, or is there a new quote unquote Demon King running around out there somewhere or something right there, or somebody that's trying to take the helm of the demon forces, right? Like what's going on with this war right now?
yeah,
Let's find out more about that as
yeah,
well.
I'm basically in the same boat as you. Another thing I'd love to see is like so the organization that Siri runs basically is like the thing that gives people the access to travel into the Northern Like you have to
Mm-hmm.
have a first class mage with you in some shape or form.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm interested in, there are obviously towns that still exist in the Northern Lands. What do those mages, the people that grew up there, the mages that are there that don't obviously need
If there
like
are any,
permission, if there are any, but like the ones that are already there that don't have approval of
how
like
are
the
they
council,
faring and stuff?
how
Yeah.
yeah, what do they like? What does it look like for them? Do they even care about the Magic Council? Probably not, obviously, but like, what does life look like for them? And then another thing I kind of am looking forward to, or I hope that we get within the second season, is like a Fern focus episode, and by that I mean like the episode where the cleric that they had
Mm-hmm.
to kind of do everything by themselves.
Yeah, something
I would
like
like
that.
to see something like that for Fern because I
Do
don't
you
think
not count the episode with Fern and Stark was taking on the demons?
a little
A
bit,
little
kind of
bit.
a little bit, kind of only because, and I only say like that because like it almost to me felt like it was split between both of them a bit,
Okay.
but Fern maybe a little bit more heavy because she kind of did come up with like the strategies to fight them, but
Yeah,
like
but I get what you're saying.
I
Just
do
more
kind of
like
want to,
a Fern focused episode.
yeah,
I feel
because I
you.
think with her being so like, built up within this season. I would love to see her take the rank,
The
like the
fruits of those
full,
labors, of course.
yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
So
No, I'm with you there. I'm with you there. Yeah.
just something
Yeah.
like that
Okay.
would be
Okay.
great.
Okay. 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 All right. So, McMillian with the Fern love, Ace with the Stark love. I see you. I see you. I see you. And any love for Frieren? I mean, well, Frieren just gonna be Frieren. The only thing I want for Frieren is just for her to be herself. Just
Yeah.
continue to be Frieren. That's all I need her to do.
Yeah.
For her to continue to be Frieren. But yeah, so I mean, man, once again, everybody, Frieren's Beyond Journey End was the winter 2024 season's featured anime for the podcast. As of right now, that feature is over. Season 1 is done. The feature is over. So for the spring, that's what we got coming up. We're gonna be picking another anime for the spring season.
Until spring starts, though, we'll probably be giving you guys reviews of some of the other like animes that we were interested in. So like next week, you could probably expect some Shangri-La Frontier, because originally we thought that was going to end this week too.
Yeah.
Which probably made this episode ridiculously long, because we are already almost half an hour and a half. But yeah, you could probably expect that, and then some other animes that we were been keeping up with this season. But until spring, until spring starts. When spring starts, we'll announce what our
next
anime
featured is, yes,
and go from there. But
right,
thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching this Frieren's episode with us. We're gonna get into Ace's favorite part of the episode.
Oh, there we go. He leading us in, everybody. He already said it. We get into my favorite part of the episode. Everybody, it's time for some motherfucking news. It's time for GOC News, your weekly source for your favorite anime news. So let's get into it. All right, everybody, welcome back for another week of anime news. GOC News will keep you up to date on the latest, hottest anime news, everybody. So I'm starting this off here. We got some general announcements for everybody. So the Blu-ray edition of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 is going to have the reprise version of the episode 17, the Sukuna versus Mahoraga fight. So essentially, we're going to be getting the full cut of the episode, as we talked about during our Sukuna versus Mahoraga episode, which is you can check that out now. In that episode, we talked about how the animators didn't really have a lot of time to fully complete the episode. It was a rush job, and it was supposed to be even better than what it fucking was, which is even crazy. And if you've been online, you've probably seen some of the clips. I've been holding off on spoiling myself for that, but you've probably seen some of the clips, and that's just wild, right?
Yeah.
So even if you already seen it, it looked like it's gonna be worth watching it again to get the full thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a proponent of, like, if you can buy physical media of the stuff that you like, do so. And I think this just kind of illustrates why, one of the reasons why, because I haven't seen all of the, like, someone I think put like what they edit in online already, and I've seen a little bit of it, and I was like, okay, this should look crazy. Hold on, let me stop. I gotta wait till I can watch it all together. But yeah, be on the lookout for that if you are just a Kaisen fan, because I'm pretty sure
100%. And give me 2 seconds, everybody. I messed up the docket here, but I got it fixed. All right, so let's continue. So for all the Dragon Ball fans, just want to let everybody know, you guys probably already know this, but just in case you don't know, the Dragon Ball Super manga will be on indefinite hiatus due to the death of the author. So I'm pretty sure while they figure out how to proceed and go forward with this, right now the Dragon Ball series is the Dragon Ball manga is on indefinite hiatus. If I'm not mistaken, his apprentice, he left everything, the leads, majority of the stuff to his apprentice. So hopefully, I don't know his name, but hopefully his apprentice is working hard and diligently right now to figure all this stuff out, and I wish him the best right now going forward.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know his name either. But if you aren't familiar with the Super manga, Akira Toriyama, I don't think at any point was like fully writing it himself. Apparently, his apprentice has always been writing it, but he was a I don't know what the word I want to say is, but he was an advisor on it. Obviously a very heavily involved advisor. So his passing most likely throws a wrench into some of the stuff that
the plans and the story going forward for Dragon Ball, right?
Yeah. So just give them time.
Give them time, to work everything out. They're gonna be coming back out soon, hopefully. But in the meantime, though, to hold you guys over for all the Dragon Ball fans, right? We got Dragon Ball Diamond that's gonna be coming out here fairly soon as well. So you guys have that to look forward to.
Yep.
Yeah. You want to continue on next?
I would, but I can't see I don't. Okay,
Can
there
you
we
see
go.
it now? There we go. All right.
I was just about to say. All right, so the next piece of news we have is for the Beastars fans, the anime's final season will be coming out here sometime this year, but it will be being split into 2 halves. So they are trying to delivering the end of Beastars, and to obviously do the best thing and make sure it's all up to snuff. They are splitting it to make sure they get everything in there. So just be aware of that. Right after that, one of my favorite animes from this season is Shura. Did indeed get announced for a 2nd season.
That it did.
It definitely deserved. Very excited to see when that comes out.
I got to get around to finishing out the season 1. I was enjoying what I was watching. I think I watched like the first 3 episodes. It was all right. It's just a battle shonen essentially.
Yeah, it has, like I said, it has a political subplot. I believe when I talked about it in an episode, and the later episodes kind of show that off a little bit more. Okay. But it's still very solid.
Still good, solid. Gotcha.
Yeah, very excited for the 2nd season. And then last year for general news, Blue Exorcist, which is currently still in the Shin Illuminati arc, got announced that it will be getting another arc adapted in October of this year called Beyond the Snow. So for all the Blue Exorcist fans, please, you got something to look forward to. Yep,
season 4. We don't have to wait 5 years for the next season announcement for this one. I've been waiting. This was the one I put on the back burner just to wait for all the episodes to pile up so I can binge watch it. So now that the season 1 is done, I'm gonna get around to going ahead and watching that season to see how it is, to see how the comeback of Blue Exorcist was. And I guess it had to be decent enough to go ahead and get the next arc announced, right? So that's great. That is great. So next up for news, everybody, we got some new series they got announced that we want to talk to you guys about. So starting us off here, Mappa revealed a new original TV anime called Zenshu. There we go, Zenshu, and it's gonna be about an animator making anime. So that's kind of cool. Hopefully, what I'm looking forward at this anime, hopefully, is maybe a little bit more onto the inside of how the anime industry works. I think that'll be kind of cool.
Yeah,
maybe not necessarily the anime industry, but more of just what it takes to make an anime. There we go.
But yeah, something like that. There's a popular manga that kind of touches up on this by manga creation. I think it did get an anime. It's made by the same people who made Death Note. It's called is it Bachiguri or something like that? But it focuses on what it's like to become like a mangaka. Okay. And so like in that same vein, I think this would be interesting. If you're interested, there's a small teaser out right now for this anime. Check it out. It looks like it's gonna be good. After that, another series we got announced or got some details about is called Mecha Ude. It's another original TV anime series scheduled to come out October 2024. Looks interesting. This
one looks hella interesting.
Yeah. From what I can tell based on the trailer, because it wasn't like a subtitled one, but it looks like there's these people that have the ability to become mechs or has some type of cyborg-esque abilities.
Yeah, it looked like from what I took from the trailer is they have these magic sigils that could be placed anywhere on their body, and from out of those magic sigils you have mecha appendages that are also sentient that comes out of them.
It's like from what I can tell,
it's almost like a stand, but the stand is a mecha appendage. So it's like an arm or a blade or a foot, something like that.
I'm so glad you said it, because I was just about to say, to me, it reminds me of Parasite, but JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and Parasite somehow mixed together to do mech stuff.
Yeah,
it looks very interesting.
Because I said, because they're also sentient. Because I'm presuming the main character of the show from the trailer, right? His mech little arm thing was talking to him, right? So I don't know if that was special to just him or his situation, or if they all can talk. But yeah, so that was, like we said, it's a very interesting new mecha anime that's going to be coming out here in October.
check out the teaser. All right, but last but not least for news, we have some rapid fire stuff. These are upcoming anime / future releases. So Ace, you want to go ahead and take the first batch of stuff?
Yeah, so I'll start us off. So The Boy and the Heron is going to be returning to theaters on March the 2nd. So it looked like that was actually a couple of days ago. So it may be still in theaters near you. You might want to look around. I'm not sure if this was a one-day thing. But if you didn't get a chance to see it when it was in theaters the first time, they're probably doing this because Boy and the Heron won that Oscar. So check in your local theaters to see if it's airing or showing anywhere. So yeah.
Yep. Did you want to continue, or do you want?
Oh yeah, I'll continue.
Okay.
So next up, on April the 5th, we got that time I got reincarnated as a slime season 3. On April the 7th, we got Mushoku Tensei season 2 part 2. Everybody. And then round us off for April. On April 13th, we got Kaiju number 8 that's going to be premiering on Crunchyroll, and it's also going to be premiering on X as well. The first anime to ever premiere on a social media site, which is kind of wild. We was talking about this when it first got announced, but it's definitely official now. Kaiju number 8 will be streaming on X. Now we don't know if this is just like a premiere type of thing, or is it going to be streaming for the full season. That I don't know, but at least definitely the first episode, the premiere, is definitely going to be streaming on X.
Yeah,
but we'll see how the rest of the season goes though.
Yeah, I have the stuff that's coming out probably within this spring. I've already shown you guys that I'm collecting the manga for Kaiju number 8. I'm super excited to see what that'll be like. But as far as stuff I don't read, definitely glad to see Mushoku Tensei coming back. I cannot wait to see what we get up to in this later half.
And it it's coming back at a perfect time to feel the fantasy void, because Frieren's in but Mushoku Tensei is starting right on up, so it's coming back at the perfect time. Love it.
Yep. And then for the summer months / end of spring, we got My Hero season 7 coming on May 4th.
May the force be with you.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even notice that until you said that it is coming back on May the 4th. Mm-hmm. Then we have Tower of God season 2, which has a teaser out right now, but it's coming back in July of this year. No specific day yet. Right after that, we have Oshinoko second season coming back on July the 2nd of this year. And then Code Geass Rose of the Recapture is going to be streaming on Disney Plus in July as well. Yes. Very interesting stuff coming to us this summer. Really excited for Code Geass to be coming back.
I know you're excited for that. Yeah.
I'd probably say though, out of everything that looks to be coming back in the summer, Tower of God surprised me when it came out.
Fuck Rachel. All my homies hate Rachel.
All my homies still hate Rachel. I cannot wait to see what the get back looks like for that.
Yes.
I know it's gotta happen. But I will say for the end of spring, My Hero's coming back. I don't know if people have seen some of the teasers coming out. Season 7 looked like it might be really good. I'm very interested, especially the way season 6 ended with the American hero. I forget her name.
Yes. And I'm also realizing I did not put this on here, but probably because we already mentioned this before. But also in the spring as well, Demon Slayer season 4 is going to be premiering as well.
Oh, yeah. Training art.
If I'm not mistaken, that's going to be April, right? Not May.
I believe
that's
so.
coming out in April.
Yeah, I believe it's coming out in April as well.
But yeah, I forgot to mention that. Like I said, I probably didn't put it on here because we already mentioned that a few times now. But Demon Slayer, the season 4 will also be premiering in the spring as well.
A lot of good anime to looking forward to so far.
Yes, but right along with you, McMillian, I think most what I'm looking forward to from that lineup right there is definitely Tower of God season 2 as well. I can't wait for that to come back. And then my second favorite hype, the one most hyped about, is definitely season 2 for Oshinoko. That one took the world by storm as well. Can't wait for season 2.
Yeah, I'm about to honestly everything coming back like this in the summer. I'm really,
and also kind of similar to some Tokyo Revengers allegations as well going on. It seems like there's a lot of decisive stuff going on in Oshinoko there.
Oh yeah, and the current in the
manga,
yeah, and the current thing for the manga I've heard. I do read Oshinoko. I'm not caught up though, so I have no idea what fire is going on there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what's going on either, but people are upset.
So yeah, look forward to that, I guess. But
But all right, but yeah, so for some fall releases, everybody, we got ReZero season 3. A new trailer for that has also dropped, so that's good. That's gonna be coming out in October 2024. Next up this fall as well, we're gonna be getting the movie for the Overlord movie for the Sacred Kingdom arc. So I'm definitely excited for that movie to releasing this year as well. Looking forward for that. Next up, we're gonna be getting the second season of the Seven Deadly Sins. Oh my gosh, that's kind of crazy. Seven Deadly Sins, Four Nights of the Apocalypse, season 2 has been announced for October 2024 as well. And then rounding us off, we got all my SAO fans rise up. Gun Gale Online season 2 is also announced. You know, that's been announced, but it's also going to be coming out in October 2024 as well.
Yeah, and also another thing that's coming out in October that it's not on here, but we talked about it to death. Probably the most anticipated October release, Dan to Dan,
yes,
will also be coming out, and
a new trailer for that has also dropped.
Yeah, the new trailer has also dropped for that. But out of the fall releases,
so what you looking for? Yeah, what you looking forward to for the fall?
Out of the fall releases, I am Gun Gale Online. I'm really excited for it because I really like as a SAO hater, as I have been dubbed, as I have been dubbed. I really like the Gun Gale series. I thought that was great. Really looking for, and I never thought we were getting a season 2. So the fact that this is happening, I'm really excited for because I really like that series. So I'm excited for that, and then I'm also very interested about the Overlord film, just because I'm really interested to see what like happens this one, because last season was it was interesting.
Not a lot really happened.
Yeah, it was
last season, but like you said, it was kind of interesting though. But not much happened though.
So I'm very interested to see anime films, especially canon ones, are very like they usually are like, hey, this shit goes down in this movie, okay? Because like, you know, why are we making a movie if not, right? So I'm very interested to see what the fuck is up in this movie.
I'm with you there. I'm definitely excited for that Overlord movie. Can't wait for that to come out. I'm gonna be there in theaters watching that one. And like you said as well, Gun Gale Online too. I did not think was ever gonna get a season 2 for this. Just for the sheer fact that we even got this, I'm hella excited about that. So yes, I will be there for Gun Gale 2 as well. Gun Gale Online 2 as well.
Yep, but
yeah. And I guess I will say I haven't got around to watching it yet, but you know, I guess it's good signs that the Fortnite Apocalypse is doing somewhat well if they already announced season 2.
Yeah, like we said before, we do plan on doing a review of that for our Netflix series, trying to keep up to date, as well as, and also we already talked about the prequel movies for this series.
Yes, we have.
So if you're interested in our opinions on that, you know, you go ahead and look that up. But yeah, we do plan on covering season 1 at some point, so stay tuned. But yeah, I guess it is a good sign that it is getting a season 2. But then again, Seven Deadly Sins and is already a very popular series, despite how we felt about the ending. So I mean, popularity could be carrying this one. Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. It could be, but only time will tell. We'll be the judge of that. But everybody, we're gonna round off today's episode with the weekly recommendation. Take it away, McMillian.
Yep. So I may have talked about this one before. If I have, somewhat apologies, but
you're gonna get it again.
Yeah, you're gonna get it again. So this week I'm recommending Noragami. If you don't know, Noragami is an anime about a god named Yato, who is a lesser known god, but is still trying to make his way within the world and have people recognize him. One day he, after running into like a schoolgirl, it seems like his dreams of becoming a recognized god are going to slowly start becoming true, because after this, basically he gets more recognized, more renowned, and it kind of just Noragami is the story of basically Yato basically realizing his dream, I'll say that, of becoming a more recognized god and how he achieves that. This anime, if I'm not mistaken, I believe has 2 seasons. And it doesn't, unfortunately, it does not tell the full story. It is continued in a manga though, which you can follow along with. I've heard the manga is also very good. I have not started it myself though, but the series is great. I highly recommend checking it out. So yeah. With all that, guys.
Upon hearing this explanation, we definitely did do this weekly recommendation before, but everybody just take that as fate that you should go watch this show. That you should go watch this. Just take that as fate. But all right, everybody. This was a long one, but once again, this was the Frieren send off, and so I guess hopefully this shows you guys just how much we truly like this
Yeah.
show, and just how much we enjoyed it as well. And once again, I hope you guys enjoyed the Frieren discussion. It was a long one, but I think it was packed with good stuff to talk about and good conversation as well. So thank you all guys for sticking it out. So I'm handed to McMillian, who's gonna take us on out of here.
Yep. Like Ace said, thank you for sticking in with us here. If you want to talk about Frieren anymore and down in the comments, please do so. We'd love to hear what you guys love from the series and what you're excited about when season 2 does, eventually roll around. But with all that being said, guys, appreciate you for watching this last listen. If you're looking at us on YouTube, consider hitting that like, comment, and subscribe button. We really appreciate it. For my audio only listeners, consider following us on whatever audio platform you're listening to us on, as well as leaving a review. It helps us grow, and we really do appreciate you guys for letting us know what you think of our content. If you want to stay up to date on all things about the council, please consider following us on our social media accounts. That is at Gurren Otakus on Twitter and at Gurren Otaku Council everywhere else. You all continue to, even though Frieren is done, continue to enjoy the spring season because there's still a lot of good stuff.
The winter season.
Oh, thank you, winter season, Ace. Thank you. Speaking of which, little gem that me and Ace really like. Wrong way to use healing magic. Please check that out.
Oh yes. We're gonna be making a post about that, but definitely, wrong way to use healing magic is the hidden gem of the fucking season, hands down. I don't want to argue with your mammy.
Yeah, so check that out if you haven't. Little gem I'll give you in the outro. But as always, I'll continue to enjoy anime. Continue to check in with us here. We will be here every week. So with all that, this is Gurren Otaku Council saying meeting adjourned. Peace out, everybody.